Arabalar birbirinin üstüne çıktı. Çok büyük kaza var.
Şu salak adam nereye gidiyorsun sen? Eyvah eyvah. Küçük araba. O da
Severe flash floods have hit the Turkey capital, Ankara. One person was injured due to heavy rain in Ankara. Streets were flooded, cars were swept away. The heavy rain and storm that hit the capital last night disrupted daily life. Several streets and highways were flooded and drivers had difficulty moving. Ankara Governor Devastation said, "Teams are responding there now. Hopefully, we can resolve this situation without a serious crisis." One person was injured when a building wall collapsed due to the heavy rain.
Ay ev patladı. Ay gitti ev patladı.
Due to the storm and heavy rain that hit Ankara last night, water pooled on several streets and highways, and drivers had difficulty navigating their vehicles. Unprepared for the rain, residents waited indoors until it subsided. Trees were uprooted in the Kijiran and Sankaya districts by the storm. The roof of a building in the Sengizen neighborhood of Mamak was blown off. A building on 1071 Street in the Adnan Menderes neighborhood of Kijiran district was flooded by heavy rain. The water that inundated the building destroyed the interior and exterior walls of an apartment. AFA teams rescued 3 people, one of whom was injured, from the rubble. Material damage also occurred to the collapsed building and surrounding buildings. Cars were swept away by the rain, turning the street into a vehicle graveyard. Local residents tried to rescue those trapped using their own efforts. An elderly woman in a wheelchair was helped out of the building by bystanders standing near the apartment on the street. A local resident recounted the incident, saying, around 8 o'clock p.m., heavy hail and heavy rain poured down on this neighborhood, reaching this point. Water from the streets above overflowed and reached here. The water also swept away cars on the road. The vehicles you see are coming from the street. They are not vehicles belonging to residents of this neighborhood. The current situation is that these 2 buildings have no electricity. The buildings have been evacuated. People are eating outside. Floods sweep through this area once a year. This happened last year and the year before, but this year's rain was especially heavy. After the heavy rain in Kijiran, many vehicles were swept away. While the owners were happy to have survived, they were saddened by the damage to their vehicles. Mehmet Kiziltoprak explained, "I looked out the window. I saw a trash can coming from above. I got down. The floodwaters dragged me, so I held onto a pole. Cars started to slide. It was terrible. If I had fallen, the floodwaters would have dragged me away. A neighbor came and held my hand, and I was saved.
Çöp gidiyor. Varın gidiyor. Arabalar gidiyor Nihat. Arabalar götürüyor.
Following the flood disaster, which occurs every time it rains due to a lack of infrastructure, both the CHP-led Ankara Metropolitan Municipality and Mansur Yavaş's administration have been criticized. Residents pointed out that flooding occurs annually in the region and emphasized the lack of preventative measures. Meanwhile, the AK Party's Ankara chapter and members of parliament have strongly criticized the Mansur Yavaş administration.
Plakan falan gözüküyor işte. Gülsazak Caddesi 4 yol ağzındayız. Sel götürdü. Araba burada kaldı, içine su doldu.
Ağzına kadar su doldu araba.
It was reported that the Ankara Metropolitan Municipality was on duty with 1,869 vehicles and 2,312 personnel due to the heavy rains. Ankara Governor Devastation commented, "There are no serious problems at the moment. There is some flooding in some tunnels. Emergency response teams are responding there. Hopefully, we can get through this without a serious crisis." According to reports, the entrances and ground floors of buildings on 1071 Street in the Adnan Menderes neighborhood in the Kişiören district were flooded due to heavy rain that lashed the capital tonight. Vehicles on the street were also damaged by the rain. According to reports, teams from 112 Emergency Health, the Fire Department, AFAD, Yangxi, and a team from the city government were deployed to the scene. Residents on the street tried to evacuate those trapped on the floor using their own means. An elderly woman living on the flooded street was evacuated from her building in a wheelchair thanks to the efforts of local residents. Several residents were helped out of the street with the help of an excavator. Upon arrival at the scene, AFAD teams rescued 3 people, one of whom was injured, from a basement apartment whose wall collapsed due to the heavy rain. The injured were taken to a nearby hospital by ambulance.
Şu an o kadar berbat bir haldeyiz ki.
Due to the flooding, 2 apartments on the street experienced electrical problems and the residents were evacuated from the building. The damaged vehicles were removed from the area by tow trucks after the water was drained by the team.